man. St. John's Church outside of the White House here has some crazy bells. It's been going on for like a minute. Anyway, I wanted to do a little rundown of a bizarre mental illness that has been plaguing our culture for quite a while now, and I've seen this all over the place. I remember watching the DC Sniper biopic where it started out with the guy playing Levoyd Malvo claiming that the reason why he became a crazy racist murderer was because there were no black superheroes, and then this is one of those statements that the kids, they need to have a role model who looks like them. And I don't have any problem with that inherently. I have a problem with people thinking that that needs to be a thing. Oh, you need to have a role model who looks like you. And if you don't, you just won't know what to do and you run around shooting people. That's stupid. That's just completely idiotic. So I wanted to go through history real quick and give you just 10 people who didn't need a role model who looked like them. I don't have a role model who looks like me. So let's just go through and look at people who succeeded or excelled in fields of people who didn't look like them, who were of a different ethnicity or race. Moses. Let's just start off right off the bat. I could have put Abraham in here too, because he also was supposed to be, the first of his ethnicity to start circumcision and stuff like that. But Moses, raised by Egyptian ruling class from a Canaanite lower caste, and eventually leading the Canaanite lower class, the people of Israel, back to Canaan, and while doing so, as a leader, inspired by Egyptian leaders and inspired by African tribal leaders, specifically Jethro, who was his father-in-law, because he was also in a mixed-race relationship. Moses checks a lot of boxes. I don't know if a lot of people know that. He appropriated the oligarchical structure of African tribes. Well, right off the bat, Moses, I feel like, is one of the people that, throw the rest of the list out. We don't need him. We have Moses, for heaven's sakes. Jiminy Christmas. Okay, I am going to read the rest of the list, though. Number 9, I have George Guess. SEQUOYAH. He made the written language used by the 5 civilized tribes. He made it for the Cherokee, and this was using type print. He modified them to make a syllabary. This is an incredible genius, a pillar of modern linguistics, who reached into other cultures to pull out the concepts that would become a written language that the world had not seen yet. That's incredible. And he didn't have a lot of Native Americans to inspire him to do that, even though he himself was Native American. And he didn't need that. He saw the need for a written language, and he made one out of thin air. That's incredible. He's an incredible guy. Okay, moving on. Number 8, and I'm not going to focus on him very much, but Marshall Mathers, otherwise known as Eminem. I don't think I need to spell this one out. He was the most popular rapper for a few years. He wasn't inspired by rappers who looked like him. So, there's that. He exceeded in the field. So then we have number 7. Moving on to more important historical figures, we have Benjamin Banneker, African-American fella from this side of the country. I believe he was actually from Pennsylvania, but he came down here to help create Washington, D.C. because he excelled in the field of cartography. So he was an incredible surveyor who actually helped make the diamond that would become Washington, D.C. back in the 1700s, by the way. And he excelled in his field. Not a lot of black guys in his field. As a matter of fact, I think a sum of 0. But he was taught by Quakers and used his education to make Washington, D.C. Number 7, Benjamin Banneker. Look him up. Number 6, Akira Kurosawa. Akira Kurosawa didn't have a bunch of Japanese filmmakers to go, who's going to inspire me to make Rashomon? No! He probably was very well inspired by French filmmakers, English and American filmmakers, and his inspirations for his writing pull from Russia and all around the world. The guy didn't go around going, I need Asian representation in film before I can make amazing filmography that will change the shape of film. I need to be inspired by an Asian to do it. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. Oh, that pisses me off so much. Whenever people say you have to have a role model who looks like, that's ridiculous. You don't. If you want to do something, do it. It doesn't matter if somebody doesn't look like you. Oh, someone doesn't have the same eye shape or hair color as me. I can't possibly do that thing. If you want to do it, you set your mind to it, you can do it. All right, and we have Elvis Presley. He's on here for the same reason Marshall Mathers is. I think it. Come on, there wasn't a lot of hip gyrating rock and rollers, same skin complexion as Elvis doing what he did. So that's why Elvis goes down in history as one of those cultural appropriators. But really, he was inspired by black people, and he excelled in the field that they did because he was idolizing them. He had them as his heroes and as his inspiration, and then he excelled in that field. Also changed the face of rock and roll, brought it to the mainstream, and now we have a culture that is far more inclusive. So yes, it may have been cultural appropriation at the time, but now is cultural inclusion. Moving on, we have number 4. Dr. Benjamin Carson is now the head of Housing and Urban Development in the United States of America, and he was a poor black kid living on the streets of Detroit, I believe it was. And he was not inspired by the people immediately around him to be one of the world's most renowned neurosurgeons. That came later in his life, where he was inspired by people of all races and ethnicities to excel in his medical career. Dr. Benjamin Carson, holy crap, what an amazing success story that guy is. All right, so number 3 on the list here is Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall is the first black associated justice on the Supreme Court. Nobody else in that field at that level, at least. So obviously a trailblazer there. Honestly, you could go through the first black a lot of things in America, and you could see a lot of people who excelled in a field where there wasn't people who looked like them. So basically, the people nowadays who think that you can only excel and you should only excel in a field where people look like you are basically retroactively saying any black trailblazer who broke a color barrier is kind of an asshole. So keep that in mind. If you walk around going, the children need someone who looks like them, you are saying that the black players who broke color barriers were being jerks and they shouldn't have done that. You are a segregationist if you say that. So just keep that in mind. Moving on. We have number 2, and I'm really happy to put him on this list here. PEWDIEPIE, FELIX KJELLBERG from Sweden, has done something no human being has ever done. He has 75 million subscribers on the planet. Now, before he was the number 1 subscribed YouTuber, I believe that started in 2013. Before that, for 2011 and 2012, the highest subscribed YouTubers were Ray William Johnson and Nigahiga. Ray William Johnson and Nigahiga, a super short Italian-American and an Asian guy. PEWDIEPIE, excuse me, does not look like either of those guys. And I'm sure he wasn't looking at those going, hopefully I can succeed in this field. And thank goodness, guys kind of look like me if I squint and sort of put my fingers here and then sort of move like this. They can sort of look like me. No, he just played video games and got scared and yelled a lot, and people kind of enjoyed watching that. He developed a personality around that, and now is a fully self-aware human being at the top of his field, who has gone through an amazing evolution as a human being. And holy crap, at no point did he need a Swedish person who looked like him to pave the way for that. He's done something no one else on the planet has done, and not to mention he's doing it after an Asian and an Italian American have gone before him. So yeah, there you go. You have PewDiePie. And I gotta say, his only competition at the moment is a bunch of Indians. So there you go. You have PewDiePie, and I feel like this one could just be all Christians. Let's say 99% of Christians are not the same race or ethnicity of the person that inspires them. Yeshua HaNazareth, or Jesus of Nazareth, or Jesus the Christ, however you want to say his name there. He was of a very small super minority of the then Hellenist conquered world in Judea, the area now known as Israel. That's where Jesus was from. He was of an ethnicity that would be the closest thing you could find to it would be the Samaritans, who were still around. They were part of Judea, and then Israel, and then Judea again, and then the Roman Empire, and then Palestine, and then now Israel again. And this is an ethnicity that's been around. So if you see a Samaritan, they're probably going to look more like what Jesus looked like. People think that he may have been much darker than your average person from the Middle East. More of a swarthy Sephardic. Point is, the ruling caste of Rome was not the same ethnicity. They didn't dress the same way as the Middle Easterners there in that time period. So when there became a wide switching over to Christianity, you had a lot of people who were joining a religion that was founded by people who looked very, very different than them. And that's actually kind of a big deal, in that these were people who looked at the substance of the words, and they saw a peaceful movement as something that appealed to them, as opposed to the strength of an empire. And Constantine himself convert to this religion, which was founded by Middle Easterners, he being a Roman emperor. So you had somebody who was, it basically started a trend. Now you have these concepts of people, whitewashing Christianity and showing Jesus as brown-haired and green-eyed. And I don't think anyone of any logical abilities really thinks Jesus looked like that. I think everybody who converted of any something of mental standing knows that Jesus was a swarthy fella, dark guy. Anyway, there you go. There's my top 10 list of people throughout history who didn't necessarily look like the people that they emulated, or that they were inspired by, or saw as heroes. And I could say you could even go as far as to say the guy that lives in the house behind me, Donald Trump, because there really haven't been blonde hasn't been or red hair hasn't been a huge thing for presidents. I don't know if Trump has blonde or red hair. I can't really tell. There's never been a president as old as Donald Trump. He actually broke an age barrier. So there you go. There's people who have never had the same exact situation. Also, he has had zero elected official experience in his life, and he became president. That goes beyond just what you look like. That's who you are as a person. And this is something that has never happened in his lifetime that he did, which is a groundbreaking situation. And it just goes to show you that you don't have to be like a certain group of people to be part of that group of people. He is now part of an ultra super minority, which is American presidents. There's very few of them on the planet, and he's one of them now, and he has nothing in common with any of the others. It's pretty mind-blowing when you think of it like that. So you think of music, sports, inventors, politicians. A lot of these people have nothing in common with the people around them, and that's okay. As long as they succeed in the field that they are in, and they aren't monsters, I think it's important. I think it's important to focus on that. All right. That's it. That's my massive rant video. It's brought to you by I'm Omid. Link in the description. He is on as our new editor. If he can edit this video and chop it up a little bit. Went on for way too long, so hopefully he can make it punchy. All right. I love you all from Washington D.C. This is Sully for Antisocial News, and that is the White House behind me there. That's it. That's it right there. All right. Outro, please.